All right, what is up, you all? So today I'm going to be doing my November recap. I know it's a little late. I'm always a little late on these things, but you know what? It is what it is. That's me. Anyway, this is where I go through and give you all like my favorites, my things I don't like so much, and just my thoughts in general on stuff that I bought or kind of brought into my life this month. I really don't have a lot of stuff this month. I don't generally bring in as much makeup as a lot of people who do favorites videos, so I don't really have a lot of things to review. But I am going to circle back around to something I talked about last month, and I'm going to talk about some of the stuff I did pick up this month, or stuff that I got last month and just didn't really mention because I hadn't really gotten familiar with it yet. So anyway, if you're new to my channel, that's what I do every month. Instead of doing a favorites video, I do a recap. And sometimes I talk about music, sometimes I talk about books, sometimes I talk about other things besides makeup. So if you're excited about that, then welcome to the show. First, I'm going to talk about what I got at the VIB sale, which was very little. I got the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette, and I also got the Bite Beauty Agave lip balm. This, I ended up getting it because I had a sample of it that I really liked, and I've really used a lot of it since I got it. So my one criticism of it, or my major criticism of it, is that it's really stiff, and it's therefore prone to kind of breaking off right there at the base. Like, it wants to break, especially once it gets smaller and it's been wiggling back and forth for so long and you've kind of weakened that structure right there. It wants to break off. So I have to like realign it and reposition it so that it doesn't break off every time, because it's just really stiff. It doesn't glide on very easily, but it does last a while. Like, once you get it on your lips, it's going to stay put for a while, which I like that about it. But at the same time, it doesn't seem very practical for me to put something like that in a tube where it's bound to break off. And it's expensive. So if it breaks, it's like, dang, I've spent $18 on something that just broke off. Okay. Let's talk about the other thing I got at the VIB sale. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. I've done a review on this. I will link it if you want to check it out. Long story short, the mattes are Anastasia Beverly Hills mattes. The shimmers are great. I love the shimmers. These two mattes, Bloom and Birch, are different than any of the other mattes I've ever experienced in their other palettes, and I like them for that reason. They're not as pigmented as a lot of the mattes that Anastasia is known for, and therefore they're easier to blend. So I just take note, Anastasia Beverly Hills, for sake, you don't have to throw as much pigment as you can in every single one of your freaking mattes, okay? They can be slightly less pigmented or slightly more satin and more easy to blend, because people like me who don't have perfectly young, taut eyelids have a hard time blending out your freaking eyeshadows. So get off your high pigment horse and get out of this whole high and mighty, well, I've got the most pigment. Guess what? The most pigment isn't always better. Less is more. Less is more, Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's enough about that. Next thing I'm going to talk about is a new lipstick I got this month, and I actually bought a couple of backups because it was on sale. They were on sale for less than $3 each on NYX's website, and I really like this. And when I finally found a lipstick that does what I want it to do, and that is blend in with the rest of my skin tone, kind of like this one, I had to jump on it. Anyway, this is the NYX lipstick, creamy round lipstick, or extra creamy lipstick in the shade Summer Love. Now, the formula I have some issues with because it tends to do the same thing that any other very light, creamier lipstick does when I put it on my lips, and that leaves like a line right here on the inside, right there on my lips. I talked about the Soap and Glory lipstick in my last recap, and I'll link that if you want to go check that out. It does the same kind of thing, but every single shade or every single lipstick or formula that is that shade or is that light, I've noticed it does that. I've never seen a lipstick not do that when it's on a certain spectrum of peachy beige, light tones when it comes to lipstick. I don't know what it is about it, but this one doesn't do it as much. Like, this one isn't as greasy and doesn't leave as bad of a line there because it's just a lot lighter. This is what the shade looks like in the tube. I'll swatch it here. There's the swatch of it. It's very, very sheer. It's not completely opaque, which is also what I like about it. I can put it in my purse and just kind of leave it there. If for some reason I don't want to reapply whatever lipstick I wore that day, I can have one of these in my purse and put it on without a mirror, really. And that's another thing that I like about it. If I know I'm going to be reapplying lipstick, or I'm going out to eat or something like that, it fades off pretty gracefully. Like, if I'm eating, you're not going to see that my lipstick's coming off. Like, if I were to wear like a really bold lipstick, and then I can just put it right back on with very little effort, or without actually having to look in a mirror, which I'm not against, don't get me wrong, but it's just easy to wear. Sometimes I don't feel like doing the whole liquid lipstick thing, so yeah. Anyway, let's talk about an eyeliner that I have since gotten, because I was kind of in the market for a new liquid liner and a lot of people were recommending certain things to me. I ended up getting the Stila one and I like it, I guess. I mean, it's a felt tip, which I'm not super familiar with. I don't know if I'll repurchase this. I might kind of work my way through all the recommendations that I got in my video where I talked about needing a new liquid liner, because honestly, I don't use liquid liner a ton. I don't do a lot of wings, and I just find this really stiff and hard to get a perfect wing on my lids, because my eyelids are I've talked about this before, they're kind of bunchy. There's a lot of them right there, and it makes it hard for me to get a perfect wing, especially when I'm using something as stiff as a felt liner tip. And I have used this on other people before. Like I had, my friends have it, they use it, so I've used it on them, and I really, really liked it. So I was like, sure, maybe I'll like it on myself, but no, I just got too much skin up there. My lids, they just bunch up on each other. That's just what happens, and wings are kind of hard for me to do for that reason. But I like using gel liner, I've noticed, because I can build it up, I can smudge it out. It doesn't have to be a perfectly crisp wing, which I don't very often do anyway. So moving on. So I ended up buying my first ever Shiro Cosmetics eyeshadow this month, and this is one of their loose pigments. This is in the shade Owl Bear, My Soul to You, from one of their newer collections. It's got an owl on the front. It's adorable. I absolutely love the packaging. You can see how shimmery it is in the pot. Now, I was sold on this from one of their Instagram posts, and I was like, oh my god, that's like the taupe glittery shade of my dreams. It is a very, very pretty taupe shade, and I love taupe. I love taupe. I mean, it's great. But this is what it looks like when I just dip my finger in there. It's super shimmery, almost has a wet sheen to it. Now, I don't want it to fall everywhere when I start to swatch it, so I'm just going to swatch it real quick, and then I'll show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like when swatched. It's a very easy shadow to do a one shadow look with, which I really like about it. And it was fairly inexpensive, and you don't have to buy a ton. You don't have to buy their huge size of it if you don't want to. You can buy the smaller one, because let's be real, hardly any of us will ever work our way through all of our eyeshadows that we have, much less loose pigments. So I don't know, I do like it. I like to wet it too. When you wet it, it almost makes it look like you're it's like a wet sheen. It's a very sheer but wet looking sheen, which I think is super cool, especially if you just want to do a one shadow look. But if you wet it too much, it will almost dissolve some of the pigments. So I don't recommend wetting these loose pigments as much as you would say a pressed eyeshadow, because they're not tightly pressed. Obviously, you're going to end up dissolving a lot of what's there. So you have to lightly dampen your brush. Okay, so now I'm going to circle back around to something I talked about last month. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions. This is the tubing mascara that I talked about, and I do like it, but I have some issues with it. There were some things that I just it kind of dawned on me as I was washing this off and as I kept using this. Now, I did talk about the fact that it's kind of hard to, especially when it's new, get your lashes not to clump up at the base. If you put it right at the base of your eyelashes, like you're probably inclined to do based on every other mascara you've ever used in your life, and then wiggled it around and then done this, it doesn't quite work the same way, because these are polymers. Basically what it does is it coats your lashes in plastic. This brings me to my next point about why I am kind of iffy about it. Now, I do have this one, and I ended up buying a backup because I wanted to get free shipping, and I was that convinced that I would like it. So I do have 2 tubes of it that I plan on using. But my issue with this is, am I literally washing microplastics down the drain every time I take it off? I've done some research. I can't find anyone that's ever mentioned it, because I know that the scientific community has come out against glitter and micro glitter and saying that essentially we're just washing plastic down the drain every time we wash glitter down the drain, which I totally understand. And I'm going to get to a way that I have remedied that in just a moment. I'm kind of worried that every time I take this off, and because you have to pull it off of your lashes, you have to use water, okay, to get this off. First of all, you have to use water. You cannot dissolve this with a makeup wipe. It doesn't dissolve, period. It coats your lashes in polymers, which is, of course, plastic. So if you've read anything about microplastics, or you were keeping up with the microbead controversy years ago where the Obama administration actually banned the use of microbeads in skincare because when you wash them down the drain, they don't go through, they go straight through any filter that wastewater gets caught up in, and it doesn't stay in our wastewater system. It goes straight through the filters and into the ocean. Ultimately, it ends up in the ocean. We cannot filter those out. Same with any other microplastics or microfibers. Now, if you wear polyester, if you wear any kind of poly blend clothing, the scientific community has also come out and said, look, microbeads aren't the only ones causing the problem. It's also microfibers. Like when you wash your synthetic clothes that are made out of polyester and any other kind of synthetic blend, you're also, all those like little microfibers, those are also going into the water system that of course do not get caught up in the filters. They go straight to the ocean, right? So that brings me to back to this mascara. I know they're Thrive Cosmetics and they're for a good cause and they donate to charity, which I think is great that that they're donating part of their proceeds, but at what cost? Like, I'm not trying to sit here and be like, if you use a tubing mascara, you are a part of the problem. No, because I don't really think I don't think tubing mascaras are mainstream enough for scientists to be like, we should probably start looking into the use of these tubing mascaras that make up a very small percentage of the mascaras on the market. But when you think about it, these aren't dissolving. When you wash your face, these will not dissolve. You literally have to pull them off of your eyelashes, which a lot of people like that because it's easy to get all of the residue off, which makes these great for not smudging. They don't smudge as bad. They don't flake as bad as normal mascara, which is awesome because of course your body oils and water or anything else will dissolve normal mascara. This will not, but you're washing these straight down the drain, and that's my issue with these. Are we going to address that? Is anybody going to talk about the fact that tubing mascaras are also microplastics technically? When it comes to like microplastics like glitter and micro shimmer and any of the other cosmetic ingredients, you can of course just wipe it off with a makeup wipe so that you can put it in the trash can. You're not washing it off with water, you're putting it straight into the trash and it's going into a landfill, which is, while not ideal, while putting anything in landfills is not ideal, obviously in the interest of sustainability or the future of the earth, it's better than putting it straight into the water system where it will inevitably work its way up the food chain. The way landfills are designed is they have to have a certain layer of, I think, some sort of clay that prevents anything in the landfill from seeping down into the groundwater. So I am going to talk about these makeup wipes as well. And I really like these. These are number 7 Radiant Results makeup wipes, and they do not sting. Number 7, or Boots number 7, of course, is also a cruelty-free brand. It's pretty popular in the United Kingdom. Not so much in the well, I guess it's kind of gaining some traction in the US, but Boots is a pretty popular brand in the UK. It has been for a while. And I love these makeup wipes. I got 2 in a box, 2 packs like this, huge packs in a box for $6 at Target. I freaking love these, but I think they have since changed the name of this, of the Radiant Results. I think they've changed the name of it. I'll link the new packaging and everything here in the description. But I really love these. It's so hard for me to find a brand of makeup wipes that don't sting my skin. And I just absolutely love those. So that's what I have been using in lieu of my microfiber towels. And I do realize, like, microfiber towels, again, I was like, I'm washing these microfiber towels over and over and over again. They're essentially made of plastic, and eventually you do have to replace those microfiber makeup towels with a makeup remover cloth or whatever the hell they call it, the makeup eraser. You do have to replace those because they get really scratchy because, again, they're made out of essentially plastic. They're made out of like tiny plastic. It's physical exfoliation. That's how it's taking your makeup off, right? But with these, while you're obviously creating more waste than is ideal, you're at least not putting it in the water supply and therefore the food chain. So I don't know. It's like, it's one of those balance, like what would you rather do? Would you rather put microfibers in the water supply or throw them away in the trash can? Like I said, with like micro glitter, micro shimmer, all of the makeup that you wear that has like little particles of glitter in it. So back to this. You're all probably thinking, well, why don't you just take this off with a makeup wipe? Well, you can't. And that's what freaking sucks about it. You cannot get this to come completely off with a makeup wipe. And I do not know why. I can't figure it out, and not without just scrubbing the absolute crap out of my eyelashes to the point that they're falling out. It's harder for me to remove this with a makeup wipe than it is regular mascara with a makeup wipe. So I might as well just use the makeup wipes to remove the glitter and shimmer and mascara that will dissolve off of my eye with a makeup wipe than trying to use this, or than trying to use it to remove this, because it just doesn't work. You have to use something that's water-based to take this off. It's the weirdest thing, and I don't know if it's just this tubing mascara. It might be other tubing mascaras, but either way, any tubing mascara you use is coating your lashes in polymers, which is essentially plastic. But I don't know. Do they eventually dissolve? I've never done the research. I haven't been able to find the research. I've looked everywhere online, like, are tubing mascaras bad for the environment? Are tubing mascaras this or that? Do they eventually dissolve in water? From what I understand, they do not dissolve in water, which is why they just come right off your eyelashes when you put water on them. But I don't know enough. If anybody can weigh in on this and give me some more information about if these would be considered microplastics, then please let me know. Because if that's the case, then I don't know. I don't have any interest in using them. Another complaint I have about this mascara is the fact that everybody's like, oh my God, it's so easy. If you're lazy, this is for you. This is the mascara for lazy people, because then it's just easy to get off and you don't have to fuss with it. I'm going to have to disagree on that. It's not the mascara for lazy people, because for one, it won't come off with a makeup wipe, at least not in its entirety. If I'm being lazy, if I've been out with my friends, if I get home super late one night, which is pretty rare for me, let's be real, and I don't feel like taking my makeup off, like with my soap and my cleanser and all that crap, I want to use a makeup wipe. I just want to wipe all of my makeup off, like make sure it's completely clean, and then just be done with it instead of splashing water all over my face, cleaning my entire sink off like that I normally would do. I don't want to do that, and therefore this is not for lazy people, because this does not come off cleanly with a makeup wipe. I have another complaint about this. The fact that even when you do wash it off with water and soap and everything, and you individually pull all your freaking eyelashes off, you get these little freaking flakes on your face that don't really want to come off. They just stick to your face. And even when I'm like drying my face off with the towel, I'm like, and then I get these tiny little flicks, because it breaks apart. It doesn't dissolve, it breaks apart, which is what it's designed to do, right? And therefore, once it starts to break apart and you've washed it off, you get all these little flakes stuck to your face. I've had it, and they'll like sit there. They'll be there the next day when I'm putting my makeup on, because I didn't get that minuscule amount off of the base of my eyelashes or something for some reason. It's just, I have so many complaints about this mascara, not the least of which is the fact that it kind of makes me go when I'm like trying to pull it off my eye. I did like this at first, and I still think it does a good job as a mascara. It really does lengthen. It doesn't smudge, which is what I originally liked about it. You know, if you're like the type of person that wants a tubing mascara, you don't want that excess smudging all over your lower lash line, which is what I thought I liked about it. I'm like, yay, I don't have like smudging mascara all over my lash line. But at the same time, like, at what cost? At what cost? Washing microplastics down the drain that aren't going to dissolve, not being able to wipe them off with a makeup wipe. I have so many qualms about this mascara, but the main one being the whole microplastic thing. It just doesn't feel right washing that down the drain. I don't know. Let me know what you think about this. I just have some issues with this mascara now, if you couldn't tell. On the bright side, I discovered these, because I was like, I'm gonna need some makeup wipes if I'm gonna continue to use this mascara. Of course, it doesn't work that well for this mascara, but I love these freaking makeup wipes. They don't sting. They do such a good job taking my makeup off, and such a good job taking normal mascara off, that I really love those makeup wipes, and they last me a really long time. So there you have it. But yeah, that wraps up my monthly recap. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you agree or disagree with some of my favorites or my opinions on some of these products, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.